Today we're going to see how to put spark plugs in a Dodge Grand Caravan 2006. We're going to go with the OE Champion spark plugs, and we'll walk you through it, give you some tips and pointers, and just show you how simple it can be so you can do it at home yourself. The tools we'll need to do this job: just a small flat bladed tool, 3/8 ratchet, a 3" 3/8 extension, a 5/8 spark plug socket. You may need a pair of pliers, and I have here an 8mm socket on a small drill. A hand ratchet would work fine, or even a flat-headed screwdriver could take the place of that tool. This is a spark plug gap tool. You always want to double check the gap of your spark plugs prior to installing them. Now, the plugs I ordered are supposed to be pre-gapped, but you always want to do a little quality control and just double check. Now, we should be seeing anywhere between 48 thousandths to 52 thousandths on these plugs. I've already got them gapped. To get the spark plug boots off, just give it a little twist and pull them off. You can see here, it's not uncommon for the spark plug wires to come apart, so always have a set of wires whenever you plan on doing spark plugs. Because that'll come out. It's also very important you remember which wires go onto which cylinders, especially when replacing the wires. You can see the factory ones are numbered to the cylinder, the new ones will not be. So remember the correlation from wires to plugs. If you don't, you will have serious drivability issues. Now we're going to get our 5/8 socket, medium extension. Once we get it on the plug, should be just a little effort to break them loose, and then they should come out quite easily once they're loose. Here's your old product. You can see how the electrode gap is much larger than you want it to be, which is going to put extra strain on that coil. Go ahead and repeat for the rest of the front 3 cylinders. Now the front plugs are all out. That's the easy part. To get to the back ones, we're going to use our 8mm socket. Loosen up these hose clamps on the air box. One connector on the back, intake air temperature sensor. Airbox comes out of the way. Now we can get to behind the engine from the left side here, make our lives a little easier. Here's a shot of the intake air temperature sensor connector. It's got this little red tab on it. When it's on the connector, it looks like this. Take a small little flat bladed tool of some sort, slide the red up, and then you can push right here and it'll come off of the sensor. Alright, got all my spark plugs out. Here's my new spark plugs. Did go with the OE manufacturer recommended plug, the same one that came in it from the dealership. And I'm just going to put some anti-seize on the threads. You don't want these seizing up in that aluminum head. Just put a little bit of anti-seize on and make it a little easier to get out next time. Keep your threads safe and make your life a little easier in the future. This is a must on any spark plug replacement. Now we're just going to take the plugs one by one. Just start them with your hand. Never use any power tools or anything for this step. Just get it started and screw it in as far as you can. I like to tighten them up all at once. Kind of helps me not miss anything, get everything snug. I'm just going to go hand tight for now. And then we'll go over with the ratchet and the socket, snug them all up. And when you're tightening them, you don't need to give it the gut wrench. You don't want to over torque them. You just want to get them in nice and snug. sure you don't miss any of them. If you need to, go back and double check after you get them all tight. Now we do the back ones, and then we're ready to put our wires on. Alright, so we got the rear plugs installed, torqued down, front plugs are installed and torqued down. Our next thing to do is going to be replace the spark plug wires. Now on this particular vehicle, if you look carefully here, you can see that the coils are numbered. We have 1, 3, and 5 right here on the back, and then if you can look around that hose, you'll see 2, 4, and 6 on the front. Now the cylinders are numbered as follows. Starting from the front on the belt side, it's going to be cylinder 2, cylinder 4, and cylinder 6. On the rear side, it'll be cylinder 1, cylinder 3, cylinder 5. That is going to be important when replacing the wires. Like I said, the replacement wires are not going to have numbers on them. But you just match up the lengths and we'll be able to install them like that, and it should be pretty easy. Alright, so here we have our old wires and our new wires. Now the way we're going to do this is we're going to select the shortest wire out of the old ones, which in this case is going to be number 5. I got all these hanging pretty evenly, so I'm going to select the shortest one out of the new wires. They're not going to be exactly the same because it's an aftermarket brand, but we're going to get it as close as possible, and we shouldn't have any problem installing the wires. So I now have my number 5. I'm going to step over here to the vehicle. Go ahead and plug that into number 5. Just kind of clicks into place. Easy. That one's trash. And so on. We're just going to find the next shortest wire. Match it up with our next shortest wire from the new ones. Here's our cylinder number 6. So we can ditch the old one. Find position number 6 on the coil. Plug it in. Let it hang. And we're going to do this till we get all of them matched up, and once we get them all plugged into the coil, then it's just a matter of snapping them in place. Alright, I now got all the wires hooked up into the coils. Now all we're going to do is hook them up to the designated plug. Now remember, 2, 4, 6. Just find your marking up here on the coil. This is cylinder number 2. Push it on there until you feel it kind of click down. Give it a pull, make sure it's good. Cylinder number 4. Right in the middle. And cylinder number 6. Right here at the end. And you're just about done. Now we're just going to get the rear wires plugged in their designated position, install our air box, and we'll be good to start this puppy up. Now when rerouting wires, you always want to remember small little clips like these are very important. They keep the wires clear of rubbing metal objects and hot exhaust. So you always want to double check your wires. Make sure they're running free and clear of any possible damaging obstacles. Down, make sure you don't got anything pinched in it. Don't forget your intake air temperature sensor connector. And the PCV tube. Tighten up our hose clamp. And now we're good to start. Let's see how she does. Sounds good. Now for troubleshooting purposes, you want to give it a little RPM. If you feel it skipping or missing, then there's a possibility you did something wrong. Just retrace your steps, check your plug routing, or your plug wire routing, and as long as all that's fine, it should be good and running smooth like ours is here. Now if you're dealing with the Dodge Grand Caravan with the 3.3 liter, it's basically the exact same procedure. Just remember, always use factory OE equipment or the same thing, and save yourself a little bit of money by doing some repairs yourself.